playing the fight song from memory. Usually I get there. What you don't realize is those who play instruments that hitting the right note. You may have the right position, you may have your lips in the right spot. I didn't hit the right note, and I would have probably referenced this later, but Mr. Hardy would have done one of these. You know, lower brass was always on the right-hand side, so he'd have cringed, and Mr. Hurley would have just looked over and judged you. He might have thrown the megaphone, too. So more band, you know that's true. That was amazing. That was amazing. And thank you, gentlemen, for staying here. Thank you for giving up part of your Sunday. I really appreciate it. And Greg, that was fantastic. Greg and I have a competition to see who amongst the two of us can sweat the most. I'm going to probably do my best. But I'm going to say it's crying, not sweat. Truly an amazing day and weekend for me and my family. And I can't thank the Brother Martin Board of Directors and the administration for selecting me for this honor, for my fellow now Alumnus of the Year for not vetoing that selection. I understand it was touch and go at several points. I'll let you know the initiation has not been that rough yet. I have the feats of strength this afternoon, and Dr. Barkmeyer and Dr. Eisler overseeing my 600-yard dash, so thank you. The 600 we had to run after PE back in those days. Wow. I'm gonna call my shot. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I'm gonna do today. I'm going to do a whole lot of bragging, not about myself, though. I am probably going to cry. I hope to make my family cry if I'm lucky. I'm going to do some explaining why I'm selfish when it comes to Brother Martin. And I'm going to probably reference organized crime. So just your average Alumnus of the Year presentation. I didn't expect to be crying before I got up here, so that's good. So as I thought about what to say here, I found out in June, so I had some time to think about saying. I went through many different ideas of what I might say, but one of the things that came to mind was a song lyric. I'm a movie quote guy. Kenny was expecting me to work in some movie quotes, but I'm going song lyric on this. And it's from a relatively obscure song in 1986, my class year. So my classmates here, 86, thank you, sir. We'll get to you guys, I promise. But 1986, an obscure song, a duet of all things. And it really is indicative of how I feel that my life is a reflection of the people around me and the people in this room. And that song, obscure song, a duet, Jermaine Jackson, Whitney Houston, you won't know it, but I'll remember it because it's also the first song that my wife and I danced to at our wedding reception. And the lyric from the song states, "If you say my eyes are beautiful, it's because they're looking at you." And I think it's indicative of how I feel about how you have made me, the people in this room have made me the person I am today. And that starts with my family for sure. But I'm going to start with some bragging. In case you haven't heard, I went to the best damn high school, period. And that high school was Brother Martin, so just in case you didn't know. I really, truly often felt sorry for those that didn't make the same choices that many of us in this room made. I really did. Didn't have the experience that we had, this thing that we know. But a lot led up to that decision for me. And a lot of it starts where a lot of it will start with you parents. And I have two of the best parents any child could ever have, and a young man could ever have. And I know I'm lucky that they're here with me for the celebration. So thanks, Mom and Dad. And I think my two sisters would back me up on that comment. We had everything we ever wanted. My parents worked their butt off and sacrificed. They gave the incredible example and foundation for my life. Truly amazing people. Everyone that knows them know they're more fun to hang out than I am. Vic Landry asked, "Where's your dad? Is he coming?" This is all true. But they also set a couple other examples for me. They had wonderful careers at the phone company. That's Barry. Those young guys, there was a the phone company at one time. And they had a wonderful career with that, but they had even better vocation as parents. And they told me what was right and wrong, and they let me learn in between that. And they both also demonstrate something interesting. They both stayed very involved with their high schools. Now, Dad went to John McDonough. He lived in Gentilly area, but didn't get the chance to go to one of these schools. And Mom went to what I thought was always known, and Sid can correct me, as the Poor Sacred Heart. I thought that was the name of the school. The poor Sacred Heart. I'm told that it's really Sacred Heart on Canal, but I thought it was an odd name for school, but they stayed involved. They did all the reunions, and I just thought that was something natural. But they did something else for me that was very special. I think maybe they had an idea of where they wanted me to go to high school, but they gave me the chance to choose my high school. And I felt pretty comfortable that I wanted to go to 8th grade somewhere. I love my St. Angelo people, and I got plenty of them back there too. But I wanted to go to 8th grade. And at that time, there were only a couple of schools, maybe 2, 3, that had 8th grade. So Dad said, we're going to go to all the open houses of all the Catholic high schools. And we did, every one, even if they didn't offer an 8th grade in a 7th grade year. And you've heard a little bit about this story from Mr. Rando, but the story really hits home for me. We went to a school one night for an open house, School X, let's call it. And at School X, the gentleman giving the tour had on his Letterman jacket, it might have been blue in color, and was doing the backwards walk of the tour guide, right? The backwards walk, come with me. And before we turned the first corner, he said something that probably changed the path of my life. He said, at School X, we don't need you, you need us. I swear to you that is true. My dad may remember that. After that, it was over. It was done. I juxtaposed that with the next night. The very next night, I'm on Brother Martin's campus for the first time in my life. Where's Mr. Bogran at? None of those events. I got on the school for open house. And I'm in the mall, the brick pillar closest to the bookstore, and I got my hello, my name is Craig sticker on. And this giant of a man comes over and says, hello, Craig, I'm Brother Jean. Welcome to Brother Martin. Introduce me to your dad. And it was the way he did that. It was the way he talked to me like I was a young man. And he was welcoming. And to this day, I have never felt unwelcome at Brother Martin High School. And I know you feel the same way. Decision was made. I didn't care what they showed me on the tour. I didn't even make it around to the fountain. I didn't make it into our cool bathroom that had the same sinks as the Superdome. You guys know that? Right? Guys, is that true? For the ladies, we have the same sinks in the bathroom as the Superdome. This is 1980. I was pretty impressionable. This is a long time ago. But I made the decision. And it was the best decision my parents ever let me make. It's the best decision of my life, period. Now, my parents were with me throughout all my academic pursuits. I liked living at home. My med school classmates liked me living at home. My mom cooked up a storm. We had the original man cave. We had pool table, ping pong. Pat's been there plenty. We had every game you had in the garage. We had a wonderful, wonderful household. But I would stress a lot. Those of you who know me know I do worry a little bit. Matt, Joe, Vic, those guys. And I would stress at the kitchen table, which is where I studied. Always studied at the kitchen table. I like the buzz in the room. And I would tell my dad, Dad, I'm really nervous about this test. Didn't matter what it was. Dad would come out, no matter what time of night it was. He'd put his hand on my shoulder, hand on my head somewhere, and he would pray with me. And it wasn't a prescribed prayer, but it always had these words in it. God is working in and through you. And it would go on from there. God is working in and through you. And I've tried to live my life that way. I've passed that on to my kids who have heard that from me, and I utter it to myself in times of stress. Now, Mom was no slouch either. She gave a lot of great advice. Usually it was, shut up, you're going to do fine. I'm tired of hearing this. But she did. But on the graduation day from my medical school, she gave me a piece of advice. Still in my cap and gown outside of the Lakefront Arena. And she hugged me and she said, Craig, don't ever think you're better than anyone or talk down to anyone because of the different choices you've made in life. Stay humble. And I think I have, Mom. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Is this clean water? I had an incredible extended family. I had two wonderful grandmothers, one of which lived with us, was referenced today. Maudie, we called her Ma D. DeLanzac. Get it? She was awesome. She was a school teacher. She taught me that going to the library in the summer was fun, and I bought into it. It was genius. She has a little historical, you've heard of Ruby Bridges, when the first children to be integrated into school. My grandmother taught her at that school, so it was part of that situation as well. A wonderful person. I had two great aunts and uncles, all of whom are all deceased now. But I have my cousins here, Kevin and Lisa Englade, to represent them. My other cousin couldn't come in, and I have one cousin that we lost very recently. My aunts and uncles, my cousins, supported everything my parents taught me, the foundation that they gave me. There was no going around and going, well, there's got to be a better way around this. And no. And my cousin Lisa, she's a corporate accountant here in town. And I told her if I would have told her this week I did about 120 hours of coverage in the hospital the week, she would say, that's cute. I had a part-time job once too. She works her butt off and keeps me going. Stay with me, please. I have and had two amazing sisters, my two biggest cheerleaders in life. I've had the pleasure of working with both of them. I got them both crying already. I've had the pleasure of working with both of them. Nicole and I have worked in an OR together. It's not too often you can tell the nurse anesthetist, what are you, stupid? or I'm going to tell Mom you did that. But that's happened. And we usually did tell the patients that, so they didn't think that was going to be a problem. That is my sister. Now, we were competitive as kids. You heard a little about sport. We competed at everything we did. You've probably seen some Brother Martin Championship Wrestling in your lifetime. You've seen some pretty good matches. But nothing will hold a candle to the grappling and full contact Deering and DeLanzac Easter egg hunt. And I still bear the emotional and physical scars from those events. But I wouldn't change it for a second. There's another one coming up in a couple weeks, and it's still real. Amazing. My two sisters don't hear it enough, but they have no idea how impressed I am with them and the women they've become, and how much they inspire me. Two great moms and wives, and the two best sisters anyone could ever have. My sister Nicole will be joining the Brother Martin community with a son, Logan, her and Paul, this summer. So we got another crusader coming through the family, and I'm proud of that too. Now, I invoke the gala rule to make sure that I thank my wife. They know what that means. They know. My wife, Rand, we've been together an amazing 38 years, 29 of which married this summer. I assume that applause is for her putting up with me, so I appreciate that. But it wasn't always perfect, as Greg mentioned. What he didn't mention is that night when I met her, I was laying on the wrap really thick and talking to her. She said, I'm going off to get a soft drink, and she never came back. That's a true story. And the only reason I remembered her number, because it was 838-8881, lots of eights in there, and it was yelled out the window. But there's more to the story there. The very first sort of group date we went on, my colleague, my buddy, my high school mate, Randy Huppy and I, Randy obviously couldn't make it today, but Randy and I went to a movie with Ren and a couple of friends, and I consider it kind of our first group date. And Ren got up and walked out of the movie with her friend midway through. Midway through. My friend Randy, as a fellow crusader, as any of my crusader buddies have done, followed after her to give her a piece of his mind with his popcorn bucket still in hand, spitting, those of you know Randy, just spitting pop. Beth Landry knows what I'm talking about. Spitting popcorn out and telling her, Ren said, I just didn't think it was that good of a movie. I know. So, now that movie you might have seen, you may have seen this movie. It plays approximately 23 times on Christmas and Christmas Eve every year on 2 stations. That horrible movie she walked out of was A Christmas Story. So I'll let you be the judge whether it was the movie or the company she was taking. But I persisted. I kept going. And I hope she's happy that I did. I'm happy that I did. We've weathered some of life's storms and floods and challenges and come out stronger on the other side for sure. She now works at Brother Martin, something that developed after she worked on the Crest. And I couldn't be more proud of her work there and all her colleagues in the back who will get recognition a little later here if you bear with me. But thank you, Ron. I love you. I love you, Mom and Dad, Monique and Nicole. But now to my kids. I have 2 amazing, amazing children sitting right there, Braden and Mallory. Braden, class of 2018, finishing college this summer. Mallory finished college, but decided she wanted to go back to nursing school, so she's in the process of nursing school. Braden and Mallory, you make Mom and I look like better parents than we probably are. I kid you not. 2 of the best people I know, without a doubt. They're amazing. They will go on to do fantastic things in their career, and I couldn't be more proud. The best job I ever had was being your parent. It's the one I've taken the most seriously. So thank you for that. Now for the friends in the room. Pat McNeil sitting up here with his mom. I called her Aunt Evelyn. Didn't know we weren't related for a long time. In fact, when we go places, we thought we were brothers, but everyone thought Nicole and Pat were brothers because of the red hair. So brother and sister. We traveled together. We played together. We spent thousands of dollars in quarters at Fun Arcade together because Pat lived down the street. We once went on a ski trip with 11 people in a van driving to Vail, Colorado. No one drives to Vail, Colorado with 11 people in a van, but we were close. I love you, Pat. Thank you for both you and Aunt Evelyn for being here. Now, for two of the longest running friendships I have, sitting in the dead center of the room there, it's impressive. It's Vic and Beth Landry. Vic and Beth, two amazing Brother Martin parents, 4 boys. 2 have already come through, 2 working their way through and understanding good standing so far today. Okay, Mr. Baby, sit down. Whew, I understand. Now, I didn't know the 2 somehow eventually would get back together and they're getting married. And it's like, wow, I had nothing to do with them getting together. Beth and I went to grammar school together. Vic and I played baseball together forever. Went to my first concert with Pat and Vic. That's been referenced before. Journey, way back when, 82, 83, I don't even know. But there's something Vic and Beth do is apparently they discuss who knew me longest. And one of the questions I always have to ask is, who's the winner in that argument? Is it the one who did or did not know me the longest time? So they both endured me forever, and that's been great. I have an affinity for our little alumni baseball trip, as you probably have heard there. And I have met some of the best friends I have in life on those alumni baseball trips. The Carusos right here, the Napiers sitting somewhere over there, the Broussards hiding somewhere as well right there, the Mitchells, the Peckos, the Stalls, the DeRose. Just wonderful people that I've traveled with. We've dined together. We've had some fun. I enjoy being a social director now. We've been stuck in airports. The Lagatudas, too. I didn't leave you 2 guys out there back there. He falls in somewhere else, too. But we've had some great time. We prayed together. We've shared an inordinately small number of napkins together, which is a whole nother story. They are my dearest friends. They have a lot to do with what I'm doing. In that group of friends I just mentioned, handful of Alumni of the Year, handful of Founders Club members, Brother Moore Schaefer Award winner, some good people. So Brother Martin has put me in touch with some good people. So what I'm saying is that Brother Martin didn't finish enhancing my life with graduation. It just kept going from there. And here's where I was selfish. I was selfish because in 81, 86, 8th grade through, I took everything that they could give me. Anything that they could throw at me, I wanted a part of, and I took from it. After I finished, I kept taking. I wanted to be part of the events. I went off, did a little bit of school here and there. But I was coming back, and in 1997, 17 years after I met Brother Jean, I was at the seafood dinner. By the way, it's not too late to sign up, April 22nd. Registration is open. You're welcome. It is one of my favorite events of the year. Sorry, ladies, it is a graduates-only event. That has nothing to do with why it's my favorite event, though. And I sat down with Brother Jean. I said, Brother Jean, I'm finishing my residency in like a month and a half. This was in May. I was finishing residency at the end of June. And I said, I think it's time. I think I'm ready to give back something to the school. I have some resources maybe some time. And Brother Jean said, Craig, you got plenty of time. We know where to find you. We'll come get you when we need you. And I am glad that Brother Martin has always come get me when they need me. And I thank the people in the alumni office, to me, now the advancement office, and people like Barry Hebert, Kenny Spellman, Tommy Mitchell, Brother Jean, Nick Lagatuda, and all the people in that back corner over there, Gillen, Barry again, Janelle, Megan, Chris, Yvette, Kenny, wonderful people that do wonderful events for Brother Martin alumni that I wish more of us took advantage of those events. They worked there, but Ann Wren, I follow you. Ann Wren, she works in that office too. I forgot about that. All right, I'm getting there, folks. For the class of 86, where you at? All right. Now, be quiet, because Brother Francis is right here, and he still has authority to give mall duty out, so keep it down. I was baiting him, brother. I'm sorry. I apologize. He told me last night he still has mall authority, and he can do it. Now, nobody messes with our class of 86. Only we mess with our class of 86. And if you don't believe me, come to one of our reunion planning meetings. Full contact as well. But we have a great class. We have a great class. And anytime you meet somebody who went to Brother Martin, you have that connection, but within a class, it's really there. And I kept thinking about how do I describe it, what's the right way to put it? La Cosa Nostra. If you know what La Cosa Nostra means or refers, Messina, watch it there. I see you look. La Cosa Nostra, interpreted loosely, is our thing or this thing between us. That's the class of 86 with me. It's our thing. It's this thing between us. And we have an incredibly strong bond in this class, some great, great individuals, and I thank you so much for being here today. Now, we went to high school in the 80s, which I contend is the best decade ever to go to high school in particular. We had the best movies, we had the best music, maybe not the best hair and clothes. Robert Blake, where you at? Okay, Robert had some of the best hair and clothes going in the 80s. He knows that. He knows that. But we had the best movies. Right? We had War Games, we had 16 Candles, we had Breakfast Club, we had everything. A Christmas Story, anyone? The best movies ever. But my class is fantastic. They've always been there for me. I thank you for being here, those of us who couldn't be here, and those of us, as I say to them, who live on only in our hearts. We've lost way too many of my class way too early, and we think of them today. I have two quick non-Brother Martin affiliated guests here today. And that is Joe Kovaleski and Matt Miller out there. Matt Miller is one of my medical partners, and I always say medical partner, and that's another story. But he's one of my medical partners, and Matt has been with me. We were residents together. He was my chief resident. We were staff together. He was my co-chair. He's my medical partner. He's been with me throughout. He walks the walk with me every day. Even though we're not working together, we probably speak more than we ever spoke even when we did work together. And Matt was always there following these crazy, wild-eyed ideas I had about how we can make some improvements in anesthesiology care in this state and in this country. Now, Joe Kovaleski's the other one here. Now, Joe still contends that we lowballed him when he offered a job at LSU. But Brian Barkmeyer, where you at? You can tell him that's what LSU pays. Thank you. LSU's not known for money bags, but that's what they pay. And Joe has been what I've been either his wingman or he's been my wingman for a long time. And in business, they call it the first follower. Joe was my first follower. And between Matt and Joe, that's how I've gotten to where I'm at in my national association. What they don't know and you don't know is we have saved more lives than you have any idea of. And that's excluding more patients than we'll ever touch. The work that you two have done, we've saved lives. And I appreciate what you did. I'm getting there. So now, I am a Crusader bandsman, as you may have heard, despite my instrument playing just about it feels like an hour ago. That's a dirty trick. And I really did have no idea that was going on, so that was fantastic. I was a band guy. I think band is important. Band has made a huge impact on my life. Being a bandsman means something. It's just like any other team in any athletic event. It's commitment. It's self-discipline. And it built upon all the things that my parents had instilled in me. And I had two of the best darn band directors anybody could ever have. I'm thrilled to have one here. He's my Mr. Mardi Gras. Arthur Hardy is here. And it's a shame. I didn't know I was going to have an ambassador-like lapel pin collection when I got here today. I got two extras today, thanks to Mr. Gallagher, the Crazy Crusader, and this Alumnus of the Year pen that I wear with incredible pride. But I would have worn my MH pin. And we put MH for Marty Hurley. Between Mr. Hardy and Mr. Hurley, it had a huge impact on my life. And there's no doubt I am not standing here if it was not for the things that they supported my parents and the things that needed to come out in me. They pushed. They were pushers. We played some great, where's Don at? We played some great football in the backyard. And I still couldn't catch either Hardy or Hurley. So they were amazing, amazing band directors. And thank you for everything you've always done for me. Still able to reach out to him. I think he knows my parents better. He probably knows me too. But they also built student leaders at that time. And I had, I must say it, bragging, I had the best drum major ever, maybe first, second best, in 1984-85, Corona. They're pointing at each other, and I'll get to you, Bailey. 84-85, we had a drum major. You may have heard of him, Dominic Corona, current band director. You might want to... You know you weren't getting out unscathed. You may want to send the kids out. Young men out. But Mr. Corona had an idea when he came in that senior year. And I hope he remembers this story. Maybe he's gotten older too, but he made some posters. You remember this? You made 2 posters. And one of them said something I can never remember, sorry. The other one said pride. And you put it up over the doorway at the back of the old band room on the instrument side. I hope you can still picture that. Those of us, Timmy Gagliano knows as well. Pride. And Dominic, as a senior, as a drum major, as one of us, as a kid, said that's what we need. We need band pride. We need pride in your work and pride in what you do. And those times you could give demerits out. We gave each other demerits. Can you imagine that nowadays? And that affected your grade, right? You give somebody demerits. But polish your shoes, polish your horn, play. If they would have seen that performance by me just now, there's no way I'd be standing here. But Dominic was a great inspiration. I thank you, Dominic. You know my feelings about you. Thank you. I also had I guess I had a pretty good life. One of the hardest things that ever happened to me was also in that same 84, 85 year. Mr. Hardy took me in the office and he said, Craig, it was really close, but you're not going to be the drum major next year. I said, well, it just hit me. I thought it was for sure, but you know what? It's taken me a while, but the best man did win out, and that was Chris Bailey. Between Dominic and Chris, you could not find 2 more humble guys. But Chris was a fantastic drum major. I understand he wrestled a little bit too in high school, maybe. But he was a fantastic drum major. He was awesome to be with. And I felt so strong about those 2 gentlemen, I turned my own son over to them for 5 years, and he still sees them as 2 of his biggest and best role models ever. So thank you, 2 gentlemen. I swear I'll get you out before the Lakers game this afternoon, but I'm coming to an end. In 2006, though, remember 2006, post-Katrina, kind of rough time, we're coming back for the Saints, and we're outside the Superdome, and there's a concert taking place, and I happened to bump into Mike Hotstream. Shake your hand, Mike. All right. I said, bump into Mike Hotstream, who was a drum major. I was not. And Mike and I started talking about the alumni band that we had. It was now defunct, I understand. Maybe there was some discipline issues, I don't know. But they had it when I was in high school. And Mike said, let's get this thing back together. We use the old Blues Brothers. We're getting the band back together. And I'm like, well, what do you think, Mike? And he says, let's do it now. And that was the challenge. And we went off. So I picked up another drum major, David Connick, not me. And I was the guy that was going to go speak to Mr. Hurley. I drew that short straw. Mr. Hurley was an intense individual in those days. I understand he mellowed in time. So I went in there. I knew I could probably talk Dominic into it. I knew the alumni department would be a part of it, but I had to go through Mr. Hurley. So I went in there sort of like this with pressured speech. I'm going to order some pizza. We're going to order some drinks. We're going to have it. We're going to make sure nobody does anything wrong. It's going to be perfect. And he just looked there. He says, okay, when you want to do it? And I was like, wow. And we started in 2006 that year, and Marty loved it. He absolutely loved it. For 5 years, he was with us in that event. And unfortunately, we were having a meeting the week after he suffered a stroke to discuss it. I did go to the hospital to see him. I told him we're going to keep going on. He was not in a good state at that point and subsequently died in 2011. But we now wear the MH. We have a pin of MH. We wear the MH on our shirts. It's not a day doesn't go by that I hope these young men back there are inspired by Marty Hurley, who was incredible, incredible. And what you can see by my performance up here, not this one, that one down there, is that yes, I am more the social director than the band guy in the alumni band, but I have some incredible guys that I'm thankful are here, some stalwarts on this band committee, Frank McCaskill, David Michael Connick, Mike Hotstream, I'm missing somebody in that group myself, Mark Messina, where are you? Good. And Gavin Labradette, a better committee no one could have to get an event. And yes, as Greg said, we had our largest attendance this year, and the kids are coming out now. And I say kids, they're guys that are graduates. So we're so proud of the event. I want to also thank Steve Hart, Paul Heingard, Brian Mall, a bunch of other stalwarts that are there every year for Alumni Band to make me sound better. And I'm thankful that Mark Messina took a new job, that he's off on Friday nights, so his trombone can drown out my trombone. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for making that job switch just for me. And finally, I've got to thank all my teachers that played a part. From my first teacher, Brother Martin, Earth Science, first period, this young guy, not much older than my son is now, which is just unbelievable, So casual in a teaching style. I remember him sitting up on the desk and thinking, he can't sit on a desk like that, you know? Come from grammar school. But he was an inspiration for me. We stayed good friends. We become even better friends. I think he's probably even closer to my wife now from working with her for many years. And we all know what John Devlin has done for the school and what Greg continues. So, later in that same day, I had an LA history teacher when they used to teach LA history. You may have heard of this guy too. He's Nick Lagatuda, sitting dead center in the back there for me. I still know. Go ahead, give him a round. I still know what the word Creole means, so thank you. But it was my math teachers, as was already referenced, that I really had a connection to. And math and band go together. Band and math go together. I'm sure you've all heard that, but good band students tend to be good math students, vice versa. But I had names like Bandera. She followed me from grammar school to Brother Martin. Chased a tough teacher, Canizaro, Piazza. Where is that guy these days, I wonder? You don't know. Piazza and Miss Otan. And they had a significant, definite impact on my life. Thank you, Miss Bandera, for being here, too. I appreciate it. It's huge for me to be here. I had an accomplishment that I credit to them. I went up for spring testing. We didn't have all that AP stuff you kids got now. We had testing, and you tested in and you tested out. And I went up and I tested out of all my math up and through calculus when I went through spring testing. That's a huge, huge advantage when you're going to medical school and want to try to get in early. It probably is why I got in after 3 years, because I didn't have to take any math. And I credit that to Brother Martin and to the teachers. Now, Brother Martin wants you to stay humble. I came back, I told Miss Otan, who was my calculus teacher, those of you know Miss Otan, I don't know if that's a Southern Louisiana, Cajun, I don't know what accent that is. But Miss Otan was tough. She was tough. So I probably told Miss Bandera, hey, I did all this. She probably patted me on the back and others. I told Miss Otan, I tested out everything. I don't have to do a math in college. And her response, you? That is a true, if you know Miss Otan, that is a dead-on true story. It hurt at first, but I got through it and I got what she was doing. I've got to thank the Brothers of the Sacred Heart. I didn't know anything about the Brothers of the Sacred Heart before I started Brother Martin, but I had the luxury of being with many of the brothers, far more than there are now. Brother Francis, Brother Ivy, Brother Ronald, Brother Barry, Brother Morris, Brother Moore, Brother Nick, Brother Gregory. I mentioned a couple, Brother Neil, all the brothers that were there for me. I didn't understand it. I knew what they're doing, but they were celebrities to me at Brother Martin. Those were the brothers. You guys know, my 86 guys, those were, we were kind of scared. We knew. I've got a lot of stories. I won't go with that, but I'm thankful that I won't hopefully get mall duty. I only said damn once, so that's pretty good. But the Brothers of Sacred Heart, that order, the charism, has made a significant difference in my life, and I will do anything to help preserve that. Now I'm closing. I've had a lot of seconds and second places in my life. I was the middle child, second child. I was the captain, not the drum major. You may have heard that. I think I won the popular vote that year, I'm going to say. I was the salutatorian, not the valedictorian. I was the vice chair, not the chair. I'm the assistant secretary, working my way to secretary of our national organization. But this weekend and today and this past year, the Brother Martin community has made me feel like number one. And it's an amazing feeling when something you love as much as I love Brother Martin High School says, hey, Craig, we think you're okay. We think you're okay. And I appreciate that. I want to thank you all for being here. Thanks so many of you in this room to get me where I'm at. And I have a whole lot more to give, I hope. More time, talent, and treasures, Kenny Spellman says to me all the time. And let me take a sip of water here. My good friend Bobby Burns couldn't be here today. He's on a family vacation. And Bobby Burns always used the term brother's boy. And I've always loved that humble moniker. And I hope I've earned that term of brother's boy. I love the Brothers of the Sacred Heart. I love Brother Martin High School. And the only thing I got left to say, another song lyric, is so while the whole gang is here, Let's stand up and cheer for Brother Martin High. Thank you.